The epic thumping of Wolves by Chelsea, especially the second half performance, exemplified what Enzo Maresca has been trying to instill at Chelsea, especially in the out of possession phase. And in our video today, our main point of focus will be the out of possession phase. Now, Chelsea, as I have been analyzing in preseason, have really struggled and suffered on how they are able to handle the opponent without the ball. Now, I'm going to give you a breakdown on how Chelsea have actually improved in this aspect of the game. Now, looking at the clips, you can notice that how Chelsea set themselves up in possession, and you can look at how diagonal that backline is, meaning that each member of that backline is actually covering for each other, enabling the team to have some kind of structure when they lose the ball. And even here you can see how Chelsea are actually positioning themselves in a 3-5 structure. Even when they have a 5v5 at the back, they're able to involve Robert Sanchez in that build-up to ensure they are able to control the ball when they lose it. Now, Enzo Maresca, being a disciple of Pep Guardiola, understands that the nature of controlling games is controlling the games with the ball and without the ball. Now, in our video today, we are going to look at the latter. So be ready. Before we start, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Now, Chelsea are a possession-based team, and automatically they will be looking to press aggressively high against the opponent. The main aim of pressing high is to ensure that you win the ball quick enough, regain possession, and immediately start your build-up. But if you can win the ball in areas where you are able to punish the opponent, you ruthlessly punish them and gain that advantage over them. Now, because of that, Chelsea will press in a 4-4-2 structure, a flat 4-4-2, with the aim to shackle the ball on either side. Now, what we saw in this game is that Palmer was the one who was initiating the press by looking to cut off passing options from one side of the pitch and force the ball to be played onto the other side. And as you can see from this clip, you can see Palmer is the one who's ready to actually make that fast pressing strategy and push forward towards that position. Now, once Palmer engages the goalkeeper and forces the goalkeeper to play down the one side, cuts off the passing lane to the goalkeeper and to the other centre back. And because Palmer is able to cut that passing lane, what you notice is that now Chelsea push one midfielder to help Jackson, as Jackson uses his cover shadow to cover one midfielder as he launches a press against the other centre back. Now, this is how this works. One midfielder will look to come and push on to one pivot if the opponent is trying to build with a double pivot structure. And once that happens, because Palmer is cutting off the passing lane to this other side of the pitch, the goalkeeper is only forced to play towards one direction. Now, once the ball is played towards one direction, that is when now Jackson can actually spring from covering the midfielder to actually pressing the other centre back. Now, what you notice immediately is that Palmer puts pressure on the goalkeeper so that he can play the ball fast and the centre back can receive the ball when he's not settled. And immediately Jackson is seeing the flight of the ball and he can see that the goalkeeper is playing the ball towards the centre back. And now this holding midfielder is being covered by Jackson's cover shadow, meaning that this press is well coordinated, something that they have done repeatedly in a rondo. Now, once that happens, if that midfielder is not covered well, then one central midfielder, either Fernandes from that other side, might push to cover the other pivot and prevent that ball in field and force the opposition to play towards the touchline, using the touchline as an extra defender. Now, when you have a touchline, when you have the ball on the touchline, the opposition has only two options, either to go long or look to play the ball to the winger. And because Chelsea have managed to cut off half of the pitch, as Johan Cruyff says, if you want to defend, I can defend where I'm seated, but I cannot defend the entire garden, meaning that Chelsea make the pitch so narrow and so small for the opposition to play out from the back. And because Chelsea have managed to almost cut half of the pitch, the opposition centre-back is only forced to play the ball to the full-back. And once the full-back has the ball, now the press becomes aggressive, with the entire team looking to shift towards that side. Now, the entire team looking to shift towards that side is to ensure that they cover all the nearby passing options in the middle and ensure that only the player in possession is under pressure and can only hoof the ball long. Now here, the winger Mudryk in this case is now looking to immediately press the opposition fullback. Now, as he looks to immediately press the opposition fullback, he's looking to try and force a mistake. And if a mistake is committed, then immediately they can either win a throw-in or they can win the ball and immediately look to devastatingly hit the other team through a rapid counter-attack. But if the fullback has time, he will most likely look to play the ball to the winger and try to make an overlapping run. But this is where Chelsea's backline shift, with Cucurella being aggressive while the other centre-back looking to cover him. In that, if the winger manages to pass Cucurella, then Colwill will be there to sweep. Now, because Chelsea are employing this aggressive press, they are making the pitch small. The main aim is to make the pitch small so that you are able to defend closer and you are able to cover less distances. And one way of making the pitch small is to ensure that all central passing options are limited. That's why Chelsea's wingers will start quite deeper, and the front two players are the ones who are going to dictate where the ball is going to be played. And in this case, the goalkeeper sees there is no option and decides to go long. And once he goes long, Colwill in this situation manages to win the ball over the opposition striker. And once Colwill wins the ball, you can see the position of Caicedo. Another thing you need to know is you need to be keen with the second ball in the Premier League. In the Premier League, you cannot slip on to the second ball. And Caicedo is very quick, wins the second ball. And once Caicedo is able to win the second ball, then the opposition is in danger. Because now, if Caicedo just makes one pass, the opposition backline is exposed, totally exposed, allowing Chelsea to punish them ruthlessly. Now, Caicedo is able to win that duel. He plays the ball to Cole Palmer. Now, look, Chelsea have a 5v3, meaning that Chelsea have 5 players against Wolves' 3 backline because the right back was already taken out. Now, because Caicedo is able to win the second ball and play that ball to Palmer, now Palmer is making a run, plays the ball on to Noni Madueke, and now Noni Madueke in this position is in a position of strength because 1, he can play the ball into the 6-yard space for Jackson, or the opposition Chelsea's left winger can actually attack the far post. Now, once the ball is played, Noni Madueke manages to score, and that's how Chelsea ended up scoring Noni Madueke's second goal from the aggressive press, meaning that this is one of the most deadly weapons that Enzo Maresca has instilled at Chelsea. And if Chelsea manage to harness this weapon, it will make them even more dangerous. Now, because Chelsea is very good at the aggressive press, what Enzo Maresca is trying to do is to ensure that teams are so scared from building from the back when they play Chelsea, and that plays into Chelsea's advantage. Now, what about when teams are in much settled possession? What happens when teams are in a position where they are able to play through Chelsea's fast press, or Chelsea have decided to sit off to conserve energy during the game? Now, what opponents will face with Chelsea, they are going to face a rigid, structured 4-4-2 block, that is a mid block. But the main thing you're going to notice is that Chelsea's front line, what I like about them is that Jackson and Palmer will not just stand there like what Nkunku does. Jackson and Palmer will engage the 2 centre-backs and force them back. And once they force the 2 centre-backs back, the entire team pushes forward. They don't just stay back, the entire team pushes forward, ensuring that they play the other players offside. Now, if the ball goes back to the goalkeeper and he attempts either to play a long ball over the top, then the problem is the front players will be left offside because Chelsea are moving as a unit, meaning that Maresca has instilled a system where Chelsea are moving, all the 3 lines of Chelsea, the defense, the midfield, and the attack are moving as a unit. And because Chelsea have moved up, it will mean the opponents will have to drop deep to try and find their forward players onside. And because of this case, Chelsea will shift back to the aggressive high press with the front 2 looking to dictate where the ball is going to be played, force the ball to be played towards the touchline, and use the touchline as an extra defender by trying to win that ball from the touchline. And that is how Chelsea managed to stifle Wolves in the second half. And because Chelsea are able to impose this structure of the game, as you can see from this clip, by looking to move from their mid block to an aggressive high block, indicates the tactical changes that Enzo Maresca is actually imposing onto this team. It is making Chelsea more deadly without the ball, and is also giving Chelsea opportunities to punish the opponents when they win the ball high up the pitch. Now, the out of possession phase is very important for any team that wants to play possession based football, because you need to win the ball from the opponent as fast as possible, dominate the ball, and ensure you kill off the game. Now, this emphasizes one thing that Enzo Maresca said. Towards the end of his interview, he talked about Noni Madueke, but he did not talk about the hat-trick that Noni Madueke had. That is what captured everybody's mind. But he talked about how Noni Madueke managed to make that tracking back run towards the end of the game, win the ball, and immediately look to spring forward with the ball. He said that epitomizes Noni Madueke's attitude and mentality in this game, indicating that his forward players will not only be the most creative players in the team, but they will also be the most hardworking players in the team. Meaning that if the forward players want to sustain their position in the team, it not necessarily mean that they have to score goals and make assists, but rather they should be very aggressive, very intelligent, and very well positioned without the ball. This is why Enzo Maresca emphasizes on rondos in training, because in training, when you do rondos, you're able to understand your role. When the team has the ball, you're also able to understand your role when the team does not have the ball. You know how to press, you know which passing angles you're supposed to cover, and this enables Chelsea to actually narrow the pitch. The main aim of defending is to ensure that the area you're defending is as small as possible. The football pitch is very huge. It is very big, but to be able to defend the football pitch, you have to ensure that the opponent sees the pitch very small. And that can only be done by having your players well positioned, by having the opponent play only on one side, ensuring that the player in possession is always under pressure, and ensuring the players who are pressing are covering short distances. This helps the team to conserve a lot of energy in the game, win the ball back aggressively, and immediately look to launch a quick attack. Before I go, I want to also thank one of the subscribers who decided to use the super thanks. If you really appreciate our content, you can also use the super thanks, or I can also leave ways in which you can actually support this channel financially if you want to. And I will share a link on how you can do that and an app. And I really appreciate your support in this channel, and I hope that we are able to produce more content that fits your needs. Thank you again, subscriber, and see you again.